Hey there, and welcome to the Click, Speak, Repeat, the place where grammar meets real life. I'm host Name, and in every episode, we'll explore the way people actually speak English, not textbook sentences, but real conversations, useful phrases, and grammar that makes sense. Whether you're just starting out or building confidence, you're in the right place. Let's jump in and talk real English.
It is fantastic to be here, and I have to say, I love that introduction. It really just sets the stage perfectly for what we're doing today. We're taking something that can feel a little bit like, dusty old school work.
Yeah.
And showing why it's actually the secret code to human connection.
Exactly. We are diving deep today. And honestly, when I first looked at the topic for this session, my first thought was, okay, this is basic stuff. But then I started reading through the notes, looking at the dialogues, and really just thinking about my own conversations. And I realized, whoa, this is actually the foundation of everything. If you mess this up, you don't just sound like a beginner. You sound, well, a little bit lost.
You really do. Today, we are unpacking possessives. And before anyone tunes out, because that sounds like a scary, grammatical term, let's just clarify what we mean. We're talking about ownership. We are talking about how we define our world. My coffee, your seat, his idea, her success.
It's the stuff we say every single day. I mean, probably thousands of times a day, if you really think about it.
Oh, easily. Without a doubt.
But here's the thing. The mission for this deep dive isn't just to, memorize a list of words. Anyone can open a dictionary and find the word for my. Our mission today is to help you make a very specific transformation. We want to move you from sounding like a caveman, and we'll definitely get to what that means in a second, to sounding like a polite, fluent, natural English speaker.
That is the goal. We want to take you from just sort of pointing and grunting at objects to elegantly claiming them as part of your life. It's really about confidence. When you get possessives right, you stop hesitating. You stop doing that translation in your head. You just speak.
So let's start with the big picture, the why. Why do we even have these specific words? I mean, why can't we just point at a phone and say, phone, me, and, be done with it?
Well, you could. And, if you were stranded on a desert island with someone who didn't speak your language, that might work for about 5 minutes. But language is all about efficiency. It's about shortcuts. Possessive adjectives, and that's the fancy term for words like my, your, his, her. They're basically little tags. They're little tags we put on words to answer one simple question, whose?
Whose is this? That is a fundamental human question, isn't it? I mean, that's what society is built on in a way. This is mine. That is yours.
It is. Think about children. What is one of the very first concepts a toddler grasps with, like a furious passion? Mine.
Oh, absolutely. It's mine. No, mine. That's the soundtrack to every playground.
Exactly. We are, at our core, territorial creatures. We define ourselves by the things we have and the relationships we hold. We don't just exist in a vacuum. We have our families, our jobs, our hobbies. If we didn't have these shortcuts, communication would be incredibly slow and, frankly, really painful.
Yeah, I was trying to imagine a day without possessives. Instead of saying, I'm going to drive my car to my mom's house, I'd have to say something like, I am going to drive the car that belongs to me to the house that belongs to the mother related to me.
It sounds like you're drafting a legal contract. It's so clunky.
It does. It's exhausting just to say it out loud. It's not how people connect.
And that is exactly why these words, let's call them the big seven, are so crucial. My, your, his, her, it's, our, their. They compress all of that, legal information into one tiny, efficient syllable.
The big seven. I like that. It sounds like a group of superheroes from a comic book.
In a linguistic sense, they kind of are. They save the day by saving us time and effort. When you say our house, you aren't just identifying a building. You are instantly communicating a relationship between you, at least one other person, and a physical space. That is a lot of heavy lifting for a three-letter word like our.
It really is. And it's about connection, too. When I say my friend, it feels warmer. It feels closer than just saying a friend. It sort of pulls that person into my circle,
Precisely. And that brings us to the first major hurdle for learners. We know these words are important. We know we need them. But why is it so hard to use them correctly at the very beginning?
This is where we get into the core mechanics. And specifically that big one, the me versus my battle. I see this all the time with beginners. They know the word me. Me is powerful. Me is, well, it's me. So they just stick it in front of the noun. Me phone. Me friend.
The caveman approach, as you call it.
Yes. The caveman. Me want food. Me like book. Well, it's kind of cute in a movie, maybe. If a character has been frozen in ice for 1,000 years.
It's cute if you're a 3-year-old or, a cartoon character.
Yeah.
But for an adult professional in a meeting, It can be fatal to your credibility. It immediately marks you as a very early stage learner.
So why does this happen? Is it just, I don't know, laziness? Or is there a logic to it?
Oh, there's definitely logic to it. It's not laziness at all. In a learner's brain, me is the strongest anchor they have for themselves. It represents the self. So when they want to show that something is connected to the self, they grab the strongest, most obvious word they can find. And that word is me.
That actually makes a lot of sense. So their internal logic is me plus book equals book belonging to me.
Right. Or sometimes you'll see a slightly more advanced but still incorrect attempt. They might be trying to translate a structure from their own language where the words for me and my are very similar, or where the word order is different. Sometimes you even hear things like I's phone.
Wise phone, ooh, that hurts my ears. It's like they're trying to use the apostrophes rule, like for John's phone, but they're applying it to the pronoun I.
Exactly. They think, well, if it's John's phone, it must be I's phone.
Hmm.
It's a logical attempt to apply a rule they've learned, but it's grammatically illegal in English.
So, okay, let's just lay down the law here. What is the absolute non-negotiable rule?
The rule is simple, and it is absolute. You must use my before a noun to show it belongs to you, the speaker. Never me, never I's. It is always my.
And me is for when things happen to you, right? Like, he called me, she saw me. It's the object.
Correct. Me is a receiver. It receives the action of the verb. My is an owner. Think of my as a label you stick on the object. You can't stick me on a phone. You stick a my label on it.
That's a great visualization. I'm picturing a little label maker. I'm just walking around my house. Click, click, my fridge. Click, my couch.
That is actually a fantastic way to practice mental labeling. As you look at things, say it in your head. My keys. My wallet. My coffee.
Okay, so me phone is out. We are not cavemen. We are sophisticated, modern humans. Now let's talk about the one that trips up. Honestly, almost every speaker of a Romance language, if you speak Spanish, French, Italian, Portuguese, this next section is specially for you.
Yes. The gender trap.
The logic of his versus her. This is a big one.
It's fascinating because it really shows how different languages view the world. In many, many languages, the grammar is focused on the object. So if you're talking about, say, a table, and table is a feminine word in that language, you have to use a feminine possessive no matter who owns it.
Right. I remember this from learning Spanish. The word for table is la mesa, which is feminine. So even if I'm a guy, I'm talking about my table, I have to use a word that agrees with the table's gender, not my own.
Exactly. The object rules the sentence. It dictates the grammar. But in English? English completely flips that around. In English, the owner rules the sentence.
The owner is king or queen.
Precisely. We do not care about the gender of the object. I mean, objects in English don't really have grammatical genders anyway. A table is just a table. A car is just a car, and it. So we look strictly at the person who possesses the item.
Okay, let's role play this to make it super, super clear. I want to look at some scenarios. Let's say we have a guy. Let's call him Dave.
Okay, we've got Dave.
Dave is a very manly man. He has a big beard. And Dave buys a tiny, pink, sparkly purse. Maybe it's for a costume party, or maybe he just likes it. We're not judging Dave.
Okay. Dave, the manly man, has a sparkly pink purse. Got it.
Now, the word purse feels like a very feminine object. In many other languages, it would be a feminine noun. But in English, if we are talking about Dave's purse, what do we say?
We say, that is his purse.
His, without any hesitation. Why?
Because Dave is a he. He's the owner. The sparkles don't matter. The color doesn't matter. The object's stereotypical gender doesn't matter. Dave is a man, so everything he owns gets the his label, his beard, his truck, and his tiny pink purse.
I love that. It actually simplifies things so much. You don't have to memorize a giant list of whether a toaster is a boy or a girl. You just have to know. Is Dave a boy? Yes. Okay, then it's his toaster.
It reduces the mental load significantly. You're only tracking one piece of information, the owner's gender.
Okay, now let's flip it. Let's take Sarah. And Sarah buys a massive monster truck, the biggest, loudest, most aggressive truck you can possibly find.
A very stereotypically masculine object.
Right, so because the truck is manly, do we say his truck?
Absolutely not. Sarah is a woman. She is the owner. So it is her truck. Look at her monster truck crushing those cars. It's always about her, the owner.
It sounds so simple when you explain it like that, but I know for a fact that in the heat of a conversation, people mix this up constantly. Their brain defaults to thinking about the object and they get confused.
It takes practice to rewire that connection. It's a deeply ingrained habit from a native language.
Yeah.
You have to consciously train your brain to look at the person, not the thing. When you see the object, your eyes should immediately flick back to the owner. Who owns this? That's the only question that matters.
So his name is John. Her car is fast. Simple?
Simple, consistent, and very elegant.
What about when we get into groups? The concept of our versus their. I feel like this follows the same owner is king rule, but for multiple people.
It does, exactly.
Yeah.
We're still just looking at the others. The only new question is,
Yeah.
am I part of that group? If the owner group includes me, the speaker, then we use our.
Our podcast, our listeners, because we are in this together.
Right. We are a unit. But if the group is over there, if it's a bunch of other people and I am not involved, then we use their.
Their party, their problem.
Their vacation looks amazing. We are describing a possession that belongs to them, separate group.
So there is basically the plural of his or her, or a mix, right?
Exactly. Instead of one person owning something, multiple people own it.
Yeah.
But notice something interesting. Does the word change if that group owns one house or 10 houses?
Oh, that's a good question. Let me think. Their house is big. Their houses are big. The word there stays exactly the same.
Yes. And that is another huge advantage of English possessives. In some languages, the possessive word has to change if the object is plural. It has to agree in number. In English, nope. My book, my books, their car, their cars. The possessive adjective never, ever changes its form. It is phrasen.
Wow. That is a relief. That's one less thing you have to worry about when you're speaking quickly.
A huge relief. It simplifies the whole process.
Okay, so we have the words, we have the big seven, we know who they connect to, but now we need to talk about how to build the sentence around them. Because you can have the right word, but put it in the wrong place, and you still sound, well, off.
These are the structural traps, and they're the silent killers of fluency. They're subtle, but they have a big impact.
I think the biggest one I see, and again, this comes from direct translation, is what the notes call the no article rule.
This is huge. In languages like Italian, Spanish, or Portuguese, it is very common and correct to say something that translates to the my friend or the your car. You use the definite article, the, and the possessive together.
The my friend is coming over. Hearing that in English, it sounds emphatic, like the my friend, as if there's only one.
To a native English speaker, it sounds like you are stuttering or like you can't make up your mind. In English, the possessive adjective my, your, his is strong enough to stand alone. It does the job of the article. It points at the noun and says, that specific one. You don't need the to point at it too.
So it's a one or the other situation. You can have the friend or you can have my friend, but you can never have the my friend.
Never. It's like wearing two hats. You just don't need two hats. Just pick one. And if you want to show ownership, you always pick the possessive. It wins.
My friend, his car, our house, clean and simple.
That's the goal. Clean and simple.
Now, there's another trap that I sometimes call the Shakespeare trap, or maybe the Yoda trap. The notes refer to this as the of trap.
Ah, yes, the classic car of my brother construction.
This is the car of my brother, or he is the friend of me.
Grammatically. Okay, look. If you write that in a test, a very strict, old-fashioned teacher might say, well, technically the syntax exists. But in real life, if you walk up to someone and say, I am looking for the phone of me, they will look at you like you're a time traveler from the 16th century.
It sounds so archaic. It sounds poetic, but like in a bad way.
It completely violates that principle of efficiency we talked about earlier. The phone of me is 4 words. My phone is 2 words. English speakers are, you could say, obsessed with speed and efficiency. We want to get to the point as quickly as possible.
We really are lazy, aren't we?
I prefer to call it efficient. It sounds better.
Laughs. Okay, efficient. So instead of the car of my brother, we have 2 better options. We can use the apostrophes, my brother's car. But when we are talking about ourselves, we don't say me's car, we say my car.
Right. And that brings us back to the big 7. Those words, my, your, his, etc., are the modern efficient replacements for those clunky of phrases. The book of me becomes my book. The idea of you becomes your idea. The future of him becomes his future.
So here's a practical tip for you listening. If you catch yourself about to say of to describe ownership, just stop. Rewind in your head and flip it.
Flip it and shorten it. The opinion of her becomes her opinion. The tail of it becomes its tail.
That one change instantly makes you sound so much more fluent. It's smoother, it flows better.
It does. And it signals to the listener that you understand the rhythm and structure of English, not just the individual vocabulary words.
Okay, speaking of rhythm, and speaking of things that confuse even native speakers, we have to talk about the homophones.
The homophone hazards, a
Yeah.
very dangerous place.
These are the words that sound exactly the same but are spelled differently and mean totally different things. And let me tell you, if you scroll through social media comments for 5 minutes, you will see native speakers getting this wrong constantly.
It is a genuine epidemic, even for people who've spoken English their whole lives.
Let's start with the big one, the most common one, your versus your.
Okay, so in terms of sound, let's be very clear. They are identical. In standard American English, it's Joses, your. There is zero difference in pronunciation.
Which is terrifying for a learner, right? They hear just sour when their brain panics. Which one is it? Is it possession? Is it you are?
In writing, yes, you have to be very careful. But here's the good news for speaking and listening. Context is your best friend. In conversation, you almost never have to guess. Your brain figures it out for you.
Okay, break that down for us. How does the context give it away?
Well, let's look at the grammar of each one. Your, Y-O-U-R, is a possessive adjective. And what did we say must always follow a possessive adjective?
A noun, something that's being owned.
Exactly. So if you hear Joe's and then you hear a noun like dog or house or problem, without a doubt, it's possession. I like your dog. That is your problem.
Okay, that makes sense. And what about your with the apostrophe?
That is a contraction. It's two words squished together. You are. So it's almost always followed by an adjective describing you. You're happy, or a verb with ing for a continuous action. You're cooking.
So let's play a little game, a quick quiz. I'll say a phrase, you tell me which one it is and why. First one. I ate your sandwich.
Sandwich is a noun, a thing. That's possession. Y-O-U-R.
Perfect. Next one. You're eating my sandwich.
Eating is a verb with ing. That's an action you're doing. That's you are. Y-O-U''R-E.
Okay, here's a trickier one. Your eating habits are terrible.
Ooh, that is a good one. But eating habits is a noun phrase. The habits are the thing, and those habits belong to you. So it's possession, Y-O-U-R.
See, context is king. You don't need to panic when you hear the sound. Your brain is actually very good at predicting what kind of word is coming next in a sentence.
The native speaker's brain does this automatically without thinking. We hear sandwich, and we automatically process possession. We hear eating, and we automatically process action. Your brain can learn to do that too.
But in writing, please, everyone listening, double check your spelling. Nothing kills the vibe of a romantic text message like writing "you're beautiful" without the apostrophe.
Laughs, yes.
Yeah.
The beautiful belonging to me. No, you mean you are beautiful. Use the apostrophe. It matters.
Okay, now let's tackle the scary one. The one that seems to break all the rules we've learned about apostrophes. It's versus its.
It is scary because it defies the logic we learned for names. It feels like a contradiction. We learned that to show possession for a name, we add "es." John's has an apostrophe. Mary's has an apostrophe. So our brain naturally assumes "it's" with an apostrophe must be the possessive one.
But it's the complete opposite.
It is the total opposite. And you just have to memorize this one. It's a special case. "It's" with the apostrophe always, always, always means it is, or sometimes it has. It is a contraction. I tell my students to think of the apostrophe as literally standing in for the missing letter E from the word is.
That's a great way to remember it. The apostrophe is a little placeholder. Hey, I'm standing here because an I is missing.
Exactly. And that means it's, I-T-S, no apostrophe, is the possessive one. It belongs to the same club as his or her. Notice his doesn't have an apostrophe. Her doesn't have an apostrophe. It's is just like them. It's a clean, simple, possessive adjective.
So the dog wagged its tail. No apostrophe.
Correct. Because if you try to say the dog wagged its tail, it makes absolutely no sense.
Okay. And it's a beautiful day.
Apostrophe.
Yeah.
Because you mean it is a beautiful day. It fits perfectly.
So there's a simple test you can use for this, right?
Yes, the expansion test. It's foolproof. If you're writing, you get stuck on which one to use. Try to say the sentence with the words "it is." If the sentence still makes sense, use the apostrophe. If the sentence sounds like complete garbage, do not use the apostrophe.
Let's try it with a sentence. The car lost its wheel. Okay, test it. The car lost its wheel. Nope, that's garbage. So no apostrophe, I-T-S.
Perfect. Now try this one. It's raining outside. Test it. It is raining outside.
Yeah.
That works perfectly. So you need the apostrophe. I-T''S.
Simple test. Works every single time. Now, while we're on the topic of its, we should touch on the animal rule, because this is a question I get a lot. When do we call a dog he or she, and when do we call it it?
And this is a really interesting, nuanced area of the language. It's more about social rules than grammar. The general rule of thumb is, if the animal is an anonymous animal, a bird you see in a tree, a shark in a documentary, a random dog on the street, we usually use it. Look at that bird. Its wings are blue.
An anonymous animal. I like that phrase. It's very clear.
But if the animal is a pet, or if it has a name, or if we feel some kind of personal connection to it, we upgrade it. We give it personhood. We use he or she. If you're at my house and you're petting my dog, Rover, and you say, it is a good boy, I might look at you a little funny. I would expect you to say, he is a good boy.
Because Rover isn't just an anonymous dog. Rover is family. Rover has a soul, a personality.
Exactly. We personify our pets. But for wildlife, or insects, or farm animals in general, it and its are the standard safe choice.
Okay, so we've mastered the adjectives. My, your, his, her, its, our, their. But now I want to level up. We need to talk about advanced flow.
Moving from mechanics to artistry. This is the fun part.
Exactly. Because sometimes saying my book and your book and his book over and over again gets really repetitive. We need shortcuts for the shortcuts. We need possessive pronouns.
These are words like mine, yours, his, hers, ours, theirs.
Notice that sound there. Yours, hers, ours, theirs. There's a lot of hissing going on, a lot of S's at the end.
That S is crucial. I like to think of that S as being like a seal. It's like a lid you put on a cup. Once you put that S on the end of the word is sealed. You cannot add anything else to it.
Oh, that is a brilliant analogy. So with your, no S, the cup is open. You have to pour a noun into it. Your coffee.
Right. It needs something to be complete.
But with yours, with the S, the cup is sealed. You can't say yours coffee. The noun just bounces off the lid.
Exactly. That S on the end signals that the noun is already included inside the word. It's implied.
Okay, let's look at the dialogue from our source notes to see this in action. We have two people, Liam and Sophia, and there is a high-stakes drama involving a lost notebook.
The drama is palpable.
Step 1. Liam says, I can't find my notebook. He uses the adjective my because he's introducing the topic. We, the listeners, don't know what he's looking for yet.
Right, you can't just walk into a room and shout, I can't find mine.
Yeah.
People will ask, find what? So he has to establish the noun first. Notebook. Now, notebook is in the conversation.
Then step 2. Sophia sees a notebook on the table. Now, she could say, is this your notebook? That would be grammatically correct. But it's a bit clunky. Instead, she says, is it yours?
She uses the sealed word. Why? Because we just said notebook.
Okay.
The word is hanging in the air between them. We don't need to say it again. It's repetitive. It's boring. It slows things down. So she compresses your notebook into one elegant word. Yours.
And finally, step 3. Liam is relieved. He sees it and shouts, it is mine.
Again, he doesn't say, it is my notebook. He just claims it with that one powerful word.
Mine. Imagine if they didn't do this. The conversation would be so stilted. Liam? I can't find my notebook. Sophia, is this your notebook, Liam? Yes, that is my notebook.
It sounds robotic. It sounds like a bad language learning tape from the 1980s. This is my pen. Real conversation flows. We drop unnecessary words all the time, and possessive pronouns are one of our best tools for dropping the noun and keeping the speed of the conversation up.
So the list of these sealed words, these pronouns, is mine. That's the weird one. It doesn't just add an S. Yours, his, which already has an S, so it conveniently stays the same. Hers, ours, and theirs.
Correct. And it's worth noting that its is very rarely used as a pronoun on its own. You don't really walk up to a dog and say, that bone is its.
Yeah.
So that's quite odd. We usually just stick to the adjective form for its.
That's a very good point. So mine is the only one that really changes its form completely from the adjective my. The rest just get that S seal, as you called it.
Or they keep the S they already had, in the case of his.
I want to practice this flow concept with some real-world scenarios. The notes call this the polite ninja technique, which I just love.
It's a great metaphor, isn't it? The polite ninja.
Perfect. Because ninjas are fast, silent, and effective. And polite ninjas, well, they don't cause any social awkwardness.
The S's are exactly like that. If you use them well, nobody even notices. You just move through the conversation smoothly, like a ninja in the shadows. But if you mess them up, it's like tripping over a chair in a quiet room. Everyone looks at you.
Laughs. Okay, let's look at the office scenario. This happens every single day in break rooms all around the world. There is a random lunch container on the table.
The mystery lunch.
The mystery lunch, daily drama.
You walk up to your colleague and ask, is this your lunch?
Yeah.
You use the adjective your because you're holding up the noun lunch,
A simple, direct question.
and your colleague says, no, that's not mine. It's hers.
Whoa! Look at that. That is a double ninja move right there.
It's beautiful. That's not mine. Pronoun. It's hers. Pronoun. Think about the social intelligence packed into those 6 words. The speaker answers your question directly, denies ownership, and D, identifies the real owner. Maybe pointing to Sarah across the room without repeating the word lunch.
Exactly. Without saying lunch again.
Imagine if he had said, no, that is not my lunch. It is the lunch of Sarah. It feels strangely formal, maybe even a little accusatory. It is the lunch of Sarah.
Whereas it's hers feels so casual and helpful. It feels like you're all on the same team just trying to solve the mystery.
It implies familiarity. Oh, you know Sarah. Of course it's hers. It creates an in-group feeling.
Okay, let's look at the cafe scene. You're a barista, you pick up a coffee, you call out, whose coffee is this? And someone from a table says, that's ours.
Ours. One word. Maybe it's a couple. Maybe it's a group of friends who bought a round of drinks. That one word instantly draws a circle around that group. We are a unit. This coffee belongs to our unit.
And again, it's so polite, it's not aggressive, it's just stating a fact of the universe. That's ours. So simple.
This is why we say grammar is really about human connection. These small words define our boundaries and our relationships constantly.
And finally, the pets scene. Because we love talking about pets. You see a dog in the park, you say to your friend, look at that dog, its ears are huge. And your friend says, and its tail never stops wagging.
Here we're back to using the adjectives, not the pronouns. But notice how we are possessing the parts of the animal. We're dissecting it with grammar. The ears belonging to it. The tail belonging to it.
It's how we describe the world. You can't really describe things or people without possessives. His hair is dark, her eyes are blue, its ears are huge. They're essential for painting a picture with words.
If you take away possessives, you lose the ability to describe the world in any real detail. You're just left with a list of nouns.
So we have covered a lot of ground. The why, the core mechanics, the gender logic, the structural traps, the homophones, and the advanced pronouns.
It's a full ecosystem of ownership we've mapped out.
There's a character in our source notes named Dima, and after learning all this, he has this great realization. He says, my brain is happy. Your teaching is amazing.
Look at Dima go. My brain, your teaching. He's using them perfectly, back to back.
And he mentions that he feels confident. And I think that is the key takeaway here. When you stop doing that slow, clunky translation of the phone of me in your head, and you can just say, my phone, instantly, you free up so much RAM in your brain.
That is the ultimate goal of learning grammar. It's not just to pass a test. It's to automate the boring stuff. You shouldn't have to think about how to say my. It should be as automatic as breathing. That way, you can focus your valuable brain power on the important stuff, like what you actually want to say, the message itself.
Exactly. You can focus on your story, your joke, your argument, your feelings.
The grammar becomes invisible. That's when you know you're truly fluent. When the grammar just disappears and you're left with pure communication.
So let's wrap this up with a solid recap. If you, our listener, take away just 3 things from this deep dive, what should they be?
Okay, number 1, owner is king or queen. In English, forget the gender of the object. It's irrelevant. Look at the person who owns it. If it's a man, it's his. If it's a woman, it's her. Even if she owns a giant monster truck.
Love that one. It simplifies so much. What's number 2?
Number 2, no articles with possessives. Do not be the person saying, my friend, pick one. And if there's ownership, the possessive wins, my friend. Keep it clean.
And the third key takeaway.
Number 3, seal the cup. When you use a pronoun like yours or hers or ours, remember the S on the end is the seal, the lid is on, no noun comes after, the sentence stops there. It's yours, period.
Boom. 3 powerful rules to live by.
They're simple rules, but they have a massive impact on your fluency.
Now, we always like to leave our listeners with a provocative thought, something to chew on while you're commuting or doing the dishes.
You know, thinking about all this, I keep coming back to that idea of efficiency we started with at the very beginning.
Yeah. Go on.
Think about how much actual literal time English speakers save by using these words. We compared my book versus the book that belongs to me. It's 2 syllables versus 7. Now multiply that difference by the hundreds, maybe thousands of times we express ownership every single day.
Whoa. That adds up to a lot of save time. Minutes, maybe hours over a lifetime.
It really does. Mastering these words isn't just about being correct or polite. It's about speed. It's about keeping up with the pace of modern life and modern conversation. If you are still mentally translating the car of my brother in your head, you are literally lagging behind the reality of the conversation.
You're living in the past. By a few seconds, but still.
You are, and in a fast-moving discussion, a few seconds is an eternity. So mastery of these small words is actually mastery of time. It shrinks the distance between your thought and your speech. And isn't that what we all want from language? Instant, effortless connection.
Shrink the distance. I love that. That is a powerful thought to end on.
Well, that is all we have time for today on this deep dive. We hope your brain is happy, just like Dima's.
It has been an absolute pleasure unpacking this with you.
Make sure to take care of your things and your grammar. Take care of your progress, and we'll see you in the next deep dive.
Goodbye, everyone.
Catch you later.